You gotta change with the pace of the game. They say it's different, but it all look the same. I ain't with it, I ain't with it. Hell no, I ain't with it. And only to the real stay committed. You gotta change with the pace of the game. They say it's different, but it all look the same. I ain't with it, I ain't with it. Hell no, I ain't with it. And only to the real stay committed. Strings to your back dance just like a puppet. And who you do it for, I probably love it. Stand on what I stand on and I ain't budging. Society today, let it go and don't question. You want rights, but they don't stand for what's right. And if you disagree, then it's time for a fight. It's like opinion got swapped out for hating. You feel a certain way and speak on it, they can't take it. Slowly killing the diversity. Grab you a label, trying to fit into a role like a story you fable. I'm supposed to do what and say what and act how. Not me, not never and not now.
Yeah. Welcome back to Unpopular Honesty, the home of brutal honesty and real hip hop music. Tonight, my name is Cornbread Capone, and on the line, we have a special guest. Please say your name one time for the people out there, brother.
Yo, everybody, how y'all doing? It's the Playmaker.
Yes, sir. What's happening with you, man? What's going down with you?
Oh man, nothing much. Like I just said, this when the head slid on in his lab, I just had some ideas that hit me. So I'm sitting up here kind of messing around with some beats and got some YouTube stuff going on.
Okay. Well, for the people who might not know, can you give them a brief rundown of your tenure in this music thing?
Okay. Brief rundown. Excuse me. Started back really middle school. And I was in. I took music for 6 years. 6 years to 12th grade. I took music in school, and that's where I learned music theory. And then on the way out of school, at the time, DJ Scrooge, super popular. Switcher House was like on the rise. We was making a freestyle tapes at the house. So go from that point on, and then I kind of started learning how to really make music. So then fast forward, I link up with this crew. And they got all the real deal equipment, and that's why I really got the knowledge on how to put songs down. And then I get my own setup. And while with the crew, we had shows and stuff going on. Open up for Scarface, open up for Lil Flip, group out of Louisiana, the Jiggalators. And then from that point on, when that we kind of parted ways, and I got my own setup. And at that time, I had met DJ Super Dave. He had just started at Magic 102.5, and me and him developed a friendship first, and then the music came. And at that time, I was making beats and I was rapping. So I shot him a couple beats, and he made some commercials, and he was playing it on the air. And then I made him some intros for his radio show, and he was spinning that on air. And that lasted for a while. And then, from that point on, it's just been trying to produce nothing but only the best quality music that I can make, possibly myself. A lot of it came from doing the music on my own, really looking for someone to help, but not having that help. So when you don't have that help and you know how to do it, you got no other choice but to get to it. So it's been a step of the way. It's pretty much been a figuring it out. You might get a little alley oop here and there. I got an alley oop when I was blessed to meet Pimp C's, one of his engineers from Port Arthur. I had met him, and that's really where I got my introduction to Pro Tools. And he gave me the game, and he actually did it the best way possible. I couldn't understand at that time because he gave me the outline, and he said, "Now you figure the rest out." And every time I would call him, he said, "I gave you what you needed. You get the rest." So at that time, I couldn't understand it, but it was pretty much the same thing what I was used to going through and seeing as far as trying to learn it on my own. So once I figured Pro Tools out, been working on Pro Tools, know how to engineer, mixing Pro Tools, and then I had laid the beats down for a minute, and then something just that little punch or that hankering in the back of your head is like, man, go ahead and pick it back up. So I had on my first studio setup had died on me. So when I got my second studio set up, I had to do it all over again. So this go around. I had upgraded to some more higher end equipment as far as UAD, the Apollo Twin. I got some Atom A5X monitors, which are German monitors, very very good monitors. I upgraded to the Shure SM7B mic, and I went ahead and I got Fruity Loops, and with the help of YouTube, I followed some courses on there, and I'd say I learned the hang of Fruity Loops probably within 3 to 4 months, 3 to 5 months. The only big issue I had was a lot of users was using it on PC, and I was using Mac. But and then like I said, in between all that time, still trying to stay relevant and still trying to put out the best music possibly that I could.
And to date, how many projects have you released as a solo artist?
I'm sorry, could you run that back one more time?
And to date, how many projects have you released as a solo artist?
Today, let me think. Let's see, I had. I'd say it'd be somewhere around like 9 or 10.
Okay.
9 or 10. I mean, I know I remember all of the projects, but I'd have to count them out. So I'd say it's probably somewhere around like 9 or 10.
Okay. Because I something I realized just now while you was talking. I've been knowing you. Well, I've been knowing you since 2010. And the reason why I take it back to 2010 is because that's when my brother made a project called Only One Way Up.
Yes, sir.
And you was on there. And that
Yes,
was
sir.
my first time hearing you. I don't think at the time I knew you or T. But that like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? I would get to know y'all. You know what I'm saying, within the process, but that's been since 2010.
And not to cut you off, but the funny thing about that is when me and E was working on that project, he had said it. He said even way back then he was like, man, I got one more guy I want to bring on board, but everybody just kind of got stuff going on right now. But once we get that situated, then Cornbread gonna be on board, and this is all the way back then.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna ask you about working with E and what that experience was like for you.
Okay. So basically how it came about was he had heard some of my music online, and he really he liked the sound quality I was getting and producing, actually I should say. So through a mutual friend, he's conversing with the mutual friend like, man, this, that, and the other about this guy. And the mutual friend said, man, I think we're talking about the same person. He said, well, I know where he lives, so he should take me to his house. So my mutual friend brings E to my house, and basically the setup was, he said, man, I wanna do a mixtape, and I want to do X amount of songs, and I'm ready when you are. So I said, okay, well, come back tomorrow. And he came back the next day, beats in hand. And what was so mind blowing to me to this day was that we recorded on the first go round, we recorded about 12 to 15 records. And when I tell you, never, not one time did he bring a pen, a pad, no cell phone notes, no nothing. It was all out of his head. It just totally blew me away. And then while we were working on it, it was just, I was kind of in the producer seat, and it was just certain elements and ideas and stuff I'd hear while we were recording takes, and I'd stop him in the middle of a take and, hey man, what the hell are you doing? He wouldn't understand it, but I'm like, the light bulb went off. Go ahead and run that take back, but do it this way. So when I finally mixed and mastered down the project, I remember one night me and him was out, just kind of riding, and the people that had heard his project, there was just a bunch of rave reviews, and he's just like, hey man, this this guy right here with me, he's the one that recorded everything and mixed and mastered everything. So after those 15 songs, he said it still doesn't feel complete. I want to do another 5 songs just to be on the safe side. So he comes back like a couple weeks later, and he does these additional 5 records the exact same way. No pen, no pad, no notes, just straight out of the head. And it was just, every session was just kind of mind blowing because we was just flying through them like it wasn't nothing. It was some real great times. Rest in peace, E.
Yes, sir. Man, talk to me about what you have up your sleeve musically for 2022.
Okay. So for 2022, still early in the year.
Right.
I have a project right now actually, and I guess I would say it's about 90% done. Every song on there has already been mixed, once, twice, 3, 5 times over. So basically, I just got to go back and do one more master mix of every song. But I'll have that one coming. This is February, so I haven't really locked in on when I want to put it out. But it'll be coming within the next couple of months. And then on another note, I just, like I said, I learned the Fruity Loops. So I've been trying to get back strong as far as making beats. And but I'm really working hard on getting a beat platform set up so I can start selling some of these beats. And just keep on going forward. Just keep on, churning out a great product. Just that real feel good music. That music that you just, is timeless. And every time you hear it, you want to hear it again.
Yeah, I feel that, man. Well, I have a question. What does Playmaker listen to? Like outside of yourself, what do you listen to?
So I would say that and this comes from being a child, come from being a child in the era that we was born and raised in. Just from a kid up, music just always was a prevalent driving force in my life. It was always there. Moms, pops, they got the records all through the house. They got the speakers that stand down the 4.5 feet, 5 feet tall. So the music's always been there. And then growing up, one of the things that my pop was real good on was he was trying to always show me and my siblings diversity and how good diversity could be as far as going through life, knowing a lot about a lot. So from that aspect, I pretty much gravitated to, I won't say everything, almost everything, but the older I got, the way I listen to music changed. So it's like I'm gonna listen before I form an opinion. I'm gonna listen to it once or twice. Some songs, they have to resonate with you. Some songs you gotta actually catch them late to really enjoy them. But for the most part, it's not really too much that I wouldn't listen to. But everybody's different. There are certain genres of music, you just know once you hear it that it's not for you. And that's not to knock them or put them down or anything, but it's like, that's just not my thing, or my style, should I say.
Right. How do you? How do?
I'm all over. I'm all over the place from me personally. I think the term trap is kind of like played. So I wouldn't even call it trap music. I'm more so leaning on calling it like southern music or coastal music or regional music. But I'm listening to that heavy on the West Coast. I really haven't really tapped in with too many of the Detroit artists, but there's a few of them that I listen to some songs here and there. Like I said, it's not really too much that's gonna be out that I haven't listened to. Some of the younger artists, I just the music that they're making is for a certain audience, and I've tried time and time again to grasp it, and I just have to be honest with myself, like, man, I can't get with it. And we live in a time when you speak on some of these names, the people gonna be looking at you all crazy upside your head, like you don't like that. Like, yeah, I'm still entitled to have my opinion because I guarantee it's something that I listen to that you gonna look at me crazy and you're not gonna like.
Right. How do you feel about the music scene in the 409 area?
Basing it off of the waves, the highs and lows and the waves that I've seen. I think as far as like a citywide movement, it's been, they've tried to do it over and over and over again.
I don't think that'll ever be again.
Yeah, and the thing is it's just that everyone works with who they work with and who they're comfortable with working with, and that's fine. But some of the like I was saying, some of the music that the people are making, everybody won't be able to get on that page and understand it.
Right.
And then there are some people now at the time that's kind of, I guess, getting what you would call mainstream success, but they still trying to solidify their place in the industry. So they can't really reach back. But at the end of the day, and this is just me and my standpoint. I've always been the type of person, I'm down to work with whoever, whenever I will. Like, I'm not gonna be the one I don't really like your style of music, so I don't think we can work together. Now I think that's just that Hollywood shit. Not even Hollywood. That's just I take that back. Not Hollywood, but that's just being stuck on your ego.
Right.
And I've never been a person that's been stuck on my ego. You got to put that to the side if you ever gonna prosper in anything you're doing.
I met and been around so many artists in this area who have ego, and I had to step back and I had to think, because honestly, I've been making music longer than some of these kids been alive, and I don't have an ego.
Yeah.
I don't have an ego at all. Like, I walk to the store, don't have an ego, and I have a car.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't get how somebody who's just an artist who has yet to achieve anything worthy of having an ego have an ego.
Yeah.
I never got that. Why do you think that type of mindset exists?
Well, I think more so now than ever. A lot of it comes from who you decide to surround yourself around. So a lot of times the people around you can make you or they can break you, they can lift you up, or they can throw you down in the dirt and in the mud. And then another thing that goes hand in hand with that, I believe, is success. How you measure success goes a long way, because in the world we're living in, they'll tell you that if you don't have 100,000 views on YouTube, you're not successful. Or if you don't have a blue check and you're verified on Instagram, you're not successful. Or so the level of success is just different for everybody. For me, being able to not only just get the music on the streaming platforms, but that feedback that those platforms give you, knowing the distance and the reach where the music's being played, to me, that's a certain form of success. Being able to come in this studio and I can create something from nothing, from absolutely nothing. Put a beat together, put some lyrics on it, mix it up, polish it up, get it sounding good, ship it out to the world, and it started from nothing. And there's a lot of people that they might have different elements, but there's not a lot of people that can just come in with nothing and leave out with something. So to me, that in itself is a form of being successful.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Also, man. I mean, it's a lot of artificialness that's being what's the best way for me to say it? They put what's artificial on a platform, on a stage these days.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the standard for everyone. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to achieve, and they feel like if you don't have that, then you're nothing. But I remember the world before those values changed,
Of course.
and my mind is still in that old school mind frame.
And
It's
the
not.
sad,
You
the
know,
sad thing about that too, also to touch on what you're saying, is that once all of the smoke blows away, a lot of the artists they're coming full circle, and they're being brutally honest and saying, everything what I thought it was, it's not that. And you're having a lot of artists that's coming forward, once they've either went through some turbulence with contracts, or just whatever the picture of the industry was painted for them. Once they went through all of that and it came back full circle, a lot of them are admitting to, hey man, this is not really what you think it is.
I agree with that. Since you brought up contracts, I want to ask you something. Um, in the media recently, you see a number of artists come out and they have been airing out their record labels with grievances of not being paid, or things of this nature. And you hear this from artists who have been signed to labels for more than 5, sometimes more than 10 years.
Yeah,
And then when I'm out and about and I'm around artists who are aspiring to be, their goals are to get signed to a major label record deal.
yeah,
And what I'm saying, what I tell them a lot is, a lot of people have this perception that
yeah,
a record deal is the end all and be all.
yeah,
And it's like a Disneyland type fantasy. This is supposed to change your life, and
yeah,
really, it's not. You know what I'm saying? We know that it's not, because there's a such thing as 360 deals.
yeah,
There's a such thing as artists getting beat out of their publishing.
yeah,
There's a thing that artists getting beat out the masters to their own work. And yet you have aspiring artists who aspire to go down the same goddamn tube that everybody else did, instead of, because now you have so much information at your fingertips. You don't need to sign to a record label to put out
yeah,
music anymore. You have outlets where you can upload your music at a few clicks of a button
yeah,
now. You know what I'm saying? And you can be paid for it. Not to mention, if you figure out how to monetize all these different platforms, YouTube, the Instagram, the TikTok, all these different, if you monetize all of that, plus with what you're doing musically, you can make money on your own. So my question to you is, why would a young artist throw themselves essentially down the toilet for a major label record deal?
Okay, so great question. I was watching. I watch a lot of interviews, and I can't quote exactly who was saying this, but they actually made a very valid point. They were saying that you have certain artists they're only prepared to do so much. So while they're striving and they're starving and they're prepared to go to the end that all the links of the world for you. They said they have certain artists that's they might show up to the studio on time. They might not. They might record a song one a day. They might not. They might not record but once every couple of days. And they were saying that what the label gives this artist is, they're gonna give them a chain, and basically they're just gonna give them somewhere to call home. And they were saying the point they were making is that there's a lot of artists that are fine with that. Like, hey, this works for me. I'm cool with it. As far as like what you were saying about the digital world, it does require a certain sense of drive, and you definitely have to do a lot of researching, a lot of homework, and even still and I'm just using myself as an example. On top of all of the hours that I ingest of material, and I still a lot of times find myself sitting back scratching my head like, okay, on top of all that I just soaked in, I still got to figure it out. So it can to go the route doing it on your own it can be overwhelming. And some people have never been good with adversity in their life. The first sign of adversity, they run from it.
Right. Well, before we get up out of here, please plug your social media and tell people where to find and follow you at, sir.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter. It should be Playmaker.24. You can follow me on Instagram. That's also Playmaker.24. I have my project Talk That Talk, which is on Apple Music as well as Spotify. When you go on there, you type in Playmaker, you type in Talk That Talk. And I also have 2 singles on both of the platforms, as well as Amazon, YouTube, and all the other ones. And the singles are Perfect Timing, which is produced by Dreamlight Beats featuring Brianna Moran. And the other single is 2 Cents, which is just myself on that. That was also produced by Dreamlight Beats. And just follow the links to the sites and tap in. And hopefully you enjoy this organic, I guess you would call it, style of music that I make and that I bring to the table.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait to hear the next one. And I want to thank you for speaking to me, brother. We got to do this again very soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me, man. Big time.
Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? And this is Unpopular Honesty. I'm Cornbread Capone. On behalf of my homie Playmaker, lovers of lyrics, love it.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
we'll check
yes,
y'all later.
That's the maker. All right.
All right.